Most people think leadership is about telling others what to do, that it's about a title or being the one in charge. But what if I told you the most powerful kind of leadership has nothing to do with controlling others, and everything to do with mastering yourself? The legendary Jim Rohn taught that true influence starts with personal discipline. And today, we're breaking down his 4 core principles that will change the way you think about leadership forever. See, most people go through life as workers. They show up, they do the task, they go home. They're a cog in a machine, an important one maybe, but still a cog. They wait for direction, react to problems, and measure their days and hours. But leaders think differently. A leader doesn't just see the task, they see the whole system. A leader doesn't just react to problems, they anticipate them. A leader measures their value not in time, but in impact. The biggest mistake people make is thinking leadership is a position you're given. You get the promotion, the corner office, the fancy title, and poof, you're a leader. Jim Rohn taught us that this is a total misunderstanding. Leadership isn't a noun, it's a verb. It's not a title you hold, but a standard you live by. It's a choice you make long before anyone gives you a role. You don't get promoted into leadership, you grow into it. The promotion is just confirmation of what your thinking and actions have already proven. So, what's the secret? What's the shift that takes a person from a worker's mindset to a leader's? It's realizing that all leadership begins with the person in the mirror. You can't lead anyone else further than you've led yourself. You can't inspire discipline you don't practice. You can't ask for trust you haven't earned with your own character. We're going to explore the 4 pillars that Jim Rohn saw as the core of true leadership. These aren't just theories, they're philosophies you can act on right now, to not only lead others better, but to first become the master of your own life. The 4 principles are self-mastery, vision, communication, and decision-making. Let's start with the one that holds all the others up. Principle 1, self-mastery. The first and most important principle is self-mastery. Jim Rohn famously said, "If you want to be a leader who attracts quality people, the key is to become a person of quality yourself." This is the foundation. Leadership is an inside-out job. Fame, money, and power don't change who you are. They just reveal who you've always been. If you haven't done the inner work, success will only shine a spotlight on your weaknesses. Self-mastery really boils down to 3 key ideas. The first is personal responsibility. Rohn taught you must take personal responsibility. You cannot change the circumstances, the seasons, or the wind, but you can change yourself. It's so easy to play the blame game. It's the economy. It's the government. It's my boss. When you blame something else, you give away all your power. A leader, on the other hand, operates from a place of total ownership. Even when something isn't their fault, they take responsibility for the response. They don't ask, "Whose fault is this?" They ask, "What can I do about this?" Think of a ship's captain. The captain can't control the storm, but they are 100% responsible for navigating the ship through it. Taking personal responsibility is taking back the steering wheel of your life. It's the moment you stop hoping things will change and realize, as Rohn did, that things only change when you change. The second part of self-mastery is discipline. Rohn called discipline the bridge between goals and accomplishment. It's a word that scares most people. They think of punishment, but Rohn saw it as the ultimate form of self-love. It's choosing what you want most over what you want now. Motivation gets you started, but habits keep you going. And discipline is the engine that builds those habits. Think about one of Rohn's most powerful ideas, the ant philosophy. Ants spend all summer preparing for winter. They are disciplined enough to gather food when it's warm and easy, knowing cold, hard months are coming. They don't complain or procrastinate. They just do the work. That's discipline in its purest form. It's not about one big, heroic act. It's about the small choices you make every single day. Waking up a little earlier to plan your day. Reading 10 pages of a good book instead of scrolling on your phone. Doing the workout even when you don't feel like it. These tiny acts, compounded over time, create miracles down the road. A leader with self-discipline doesn't need a boss watching over them, because they've learned to watch themselves. The third component is continuous learning. Rohn famously said, "Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune." The day you stop learning is the day you start declining. The world is always moving, and if you're standing still, you're actually falling behind. Leaders are hungry learners. They know their success will rarely outgrow their personal development. It's why they have libraries, while most people have big screen TVs. And this isn't just about books, although that's huge. It's turning your car into a university on wheels with audio programs. It's finding mentors and studying successful people. But Rohn gave a critical warning. Don't let your learning lead to knowledge. Let your learning lead to action. Knowledge is just potential power. It only becomes real power when you apply it. Self-mastery is the discipline of applying what you learn to constantly become a better version of yourself. It's living the philosophy. Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. When you master yourself, you build a foundation that can't be shaken. You lead by example, not by yelling. And that's the starting point for everything else. Principle 2. Vision. Once you start mastering yourself, the next pillar of leadership is vision. A leader without a vision is just drifting, totally at the mercy of whatever comes their way. Rohn taught that leaders must see more than others see, farther than others see, and before others do. This ability to paint a compelling picture of the future is what separates a true leader from a manager. A manager helps people do their job. A leader helps people see why their job matters. A vision isn't just a goal. A goal is a target, like increase sales by 10%. A vision is the world that exists after the goal is hit. It's the story of a better future. It's the why that makes the what worthwhile. First, a powerful vision needs clarity and purpose. It has to be simple and easy to share. If you can't explain your vision to a 10-year-old and get them excited, it's too complicated. And it has to be about more than just making money. It needs to connect to something bigger. People will work for a paycheck, sure, but they will pour their hearts and souls into a mission they believe in. Your vision provides that mission. The second element is what Rohn called systems thinking. This is a huge mental shift. A worker thinks in tasks. I need to make this call. I need to file this report. A leader thinks in systems. They don't just see the individual bricks. They see the entire blueprint of the house. A worker focuses on the assembly line. The leader focuses on designing the factory. A leader asks, what's the best process here? How do we build a structure that makes success the default? If we make this change, what happens 5 steps down the road? Thinking in systems means you're working on the business, not just in it. You're creating processes that get results on their own, freeing you up to focus on what really matters. Finally, a vision has to inspire others. A vision stuck in your head is useless. Its power is only unleashed when you share it in a way that captures the hearts and minds of your team. This is where leadership becomes an art. A great leader connects the big vision to the personal dreams of each team member, showing them how their work fits into this amazing picture. When JFK announced the vision to put a man on the moon, he didn't just talk about rockets. He spoke of pioneering a new frontier, of doing something not because it was easy, but because it was hard. That vision was so powerful that when a janitor at NASA was asked what he was doing, he said, "I'm helping put a man on the moon." That's the power of vision. It turns tasks into a mission. It turns a job into a calling. It pulls everyone's energy in the same direction. A leader with a vision provides the compass, but that's not enough. You also have to communicate where you're going. Principle 3. Communication. A vision, no matter how brilliant, is powerless if it stays in your head. The third pillar of leadership is communication. This is how you get the vision from your mind into the minds of others. But for Rohn, communication wasn't just about speaking clearly. It was about connection, influence, and trust. Rohn taught that communication is less about what you know and more about how you feel about what you know. You can have all the right facts, but if you deliver your message with no passion or conviction, the words will just fall flat. People are moved by emotion, not just logic. A leader's authentic passion is what turns listeners into followers. Your belief is contagious. When people feel you believe what you're saying, they're much more likely to believe it too. But great communication isn't a monologue. A huge and often missed part of it is listening and empathy. Rohn advised leaders to learn how to read the room. Pay attention to what's being said, but also what's not being said. What does their body language tell you? Their tone of voice? Are they confused, inspired, scared? A leader who just talks at people creates distance. A leader who listens to people builds bridges. Real listening isn't just waiting for your turn to speak. It's trying to truly understand another person's point of view. It takes empathy, putting yourself in their shoes. When people feel heard and understood, they start to trust you. And when they trust you, they're open to your message. A leader who listens can solve problems before they even start. Finally, great communication requires courageous conversations. Leadership isn't always giving inspiring speeches. Sometimes it's having the tough, uncomfortable talks that are necessary for growth. It's about correcting someone without crushing them. It's about confronting a problem head-on. It's about speaking the truth, even when it's hard. Rohn taught that leadership isn't about being liked. It's about being trusted. And trust is built with Principle 4. Decision-making. The journey from self-mastery to vision to communication leads us right to the final pillar, decision-making. This is where it all becomes real. This is where philosophy turns into action. As Jim Rohn said, at the heart of leadership is the unavoidable responsibility of making decisions, the ability to choose, to act, and to own the consequences. Workers can afford to wait. They can wait for someone to tell them what to do. A leader can't. You can't make progress without making decisions. Sitting on the fence might feel safe, but it's where progress goes to die. Leadership is about movement, and movement requires a choice. The first part of great decision-making is ownership and accountability. A leader doesn't just make the call, they own it 100%. No excuses, no blaming others when things go wrong. They know accountability is everything. You only get to take credit for the wins if you also take full responsibility for the losses. This is what builds deep trust. When a team sees their leader step up and say, "That was my call. It was the wrong one. Here's what I learned, and here's how we're going to fix it." It creates a culture where it's safe to take smart risks. It shows everyone that mistakes are for learning, not for punishment. A real leader doesn't hide from their mistakes. They use them as fuel. The second part is courage and integrity. Most big decisions aren't easy. They're messy. They involve risk, and they won't make everyone happy. A leader has to have the courage to make the tough call, not the popular one. They have to act with integrity, meaning their choices align with their values and the vision, not with what's convenient. Sometimes a leader has to cut a project people love or enforce a standard people find difficult. This takes guts. It's the willingness to walk out in front and, as Rohn taught, take the first arrow. This courage isn't the absence of fear. It's acting in spite of it for the good of the mission. And the final piece is learning from the outcome. Every decision is a bet. You believe a certain action will lead to a certain result, but you never know for sure. A great leader treats every decision, especially the bad ones, as a lesson. Failure isn't the end, it's just feedback. Instead of being paralyzed by the fear of being wrong, a leader knows it's better to make a decision and be wrong than to make no decision at all. At least when you're wrong, you learn something. This creates a team that's fast, resilient, and always getting better. The goal isn't to be right all the time. The goal is to be moving forward, learning with every single choice you make. So, what's the big takeaway from Jim Rohn's philosophy? It all starts with self-mastery, becoming a person of quality. From there, you build a compelling vision of a better future. You share that vision through powerful communication that builds trust, and you bring it to life with decisive decision-making, owning your choices with courage. What becomes crystal clear is that real leadership isn't about your title. It's not about controlling people. It's about becoming more yourself. It's a journey that starts and ends with the person in the mirror. The real challenge is to become somebody wise, somebody strong, somebody kind. When you focus on becoming that person, leadership isn't something you have to chase. It's something you naturally attract. That is the timeless wisdom of Jim Rohn. It's a challenge to think bigger, to own your life, and to lead from a place of character. If this idea of leadership clicked with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more ideas on success and personal mastery. And now, for you. In the comments below, tell us, which of these 4 principles, self-mastery, vision, communication, or decision-making, are you going to focus on this week? I read every single comment and can't wait to see what you're working on. Thanks for watching, and now go out there and lead, starting with yourself.